Hello everyone, welcome back to another Roblox Rise of Nations video. It's Phoenix here. In this video, I hosted a Balkans Battle Royale in a private server and played as Greece. This is the first time I hosted a free-for-all event in a private server, so it is basically a public server game with a few restrictions to make the game more enjoyable. If you want to join these events, I occasionally host them in my Discord server, link in the description. Now, allow me to go over the rules for this event. If you want to skip the rules, use the timestamp for the video to jump ahead. Everyone has 5 years to build up their country for war. This prevents weaker countries like Macedonia to be stomped by their stronger neighbors. There's only 6 factories allowed just so no one will hoard resources and make the game more fair for weaker countries with fewer cities. There are also limits applied to your units. The 100 artillery limit and plane bans are to avoid lag. You also can't scorch anything besides the enemy's capital. I believe that most players find scorching annoying. You can also only sell 10 electronics just so everyone can get that extra income. I did have to enforce this rule against Bosnia. Alliances are obviously banned since this is supposed to be a battle royale. The game had just started. I immediately rolled my army leaders in case I forget later on. My luck has been terrible lately. Both are absolutely useless. I also increased government spending and research spending too low since I can't afford maximum with such a small country, but I still want the bonuses. I went for limited conscription with my political power for that extra manpower gain. Some players may suggest taking policies first, but if I take policies immediately then I wouldn't have the political power to change my ideology. I should have taken improved infrastructure temporarily for that building cost reduction though. Since I wasn't planning for a late game build, I went straight for my infantry technology. Since I had some extra money and I didn't want to start paying for military upkeep yet, I developed cities instead. Developing cities not only provide more tax income, but it also increases manpower gain as well. The war starts in 2025 and it's getting close. It's about time to start spamming infantry and train them up to the maximum. Please remember to train your troops when you are fighting a player. At max, it basically doubles your unit strength. I am considering making an advanced infantry guide for you all since some of you don't even bother training up your matched attack infantry in my events. Drop a like down below if you want to see my tips and tricks for infantry. Top-notch quality infantry is far superior compared to tanks, by the way. I'm surprised at Bulgaria for actually building a fleet. I imagine most players won't be able to afford it. While upgrading my infantry tech, I also upgraded my artillery tech since I needed to be able to bombard the Macedonian capital. Players are now allowed to declare war on each other. Croatia was crushing Bosnia, so I declared war on Bosnia as well. Since I was a fascist country, I gained 3 extra stability by doing so without consequences. My game plan was to lay low until the other players have sufficiently weakened each other. I chose Greece since it was located in the corner of the battle royale. Even though I have a rule against scorching for every event, most players still scorch their cities before it gets captured. I gave up Thrace to Bulgaria temporarily as defending Thrace would just stretch my infantry line even further. Somehow, Macedonia managed to spam out 300,000 infantry. I was getting scared at this point, so I declared war on them and started bombarding them with my artillery. There was no place for them to retreat to, so Macedonia is basically doomed. Albania's army got evaporated by Macedonia, so I swept into southern Albania while Macedonia conquered the north. Most importantly, I took the Albanian capital as well. At the same time, Serbia, having already conquered Croatia, was rushing down into Bulgaria. Bulgaria then led their remaining infantry into exile on sea along with their fleet. They would try to liberate Bulgaria for the rest of the game. Macedonia gave up and just simply deleted their army after having lost 3/4 of their army. By the way, the Macedonian player would rejoin as Moldova later on. Serbia was really addicted to conquering rapidly, even though they had more infantry than me. Rushing into my entrenched and trained infantry in hilly terrain isn't the smartest idea. They basically exhausted themselves by trying to kill my army and overstretching. Romania was trying to steal Bulgaria from me, so I rushed down Bulgaria's capital and declared war on Romania as well. On a side note, Russia and Ukraine are fighting each other after they lost while spectating. By the way, I'm the type of player to micro all of their units to capture cities in a player war. Montenegro's 250,000 men army was frightening me, so I had to declare war on them. I don't really mind if my infantry was being bombed by their artillery if their infantry was also taking damage. Serbia was tired of my artillery and tried to rush tanks down to kill it. However, their tanks got caught up with my infantry and lost. Montenegro thought that they could kill my infantry after all that artillery shelling. However, I only lost 20,000 men while they lost their entire army. While all of this was unfolding, Moldova captured Romania's capital and turned on auto-capture. I conquered Montenegro and captured Bulgaria from the collapsing Romanians. I kept shelling the Serbians until they were sufficiently weakened for my infantry to swoop in. After wrapping up the Serbian front, I can now focus all my attention on the Romanians. I can already tell it's going to be hell advancing in mountainous terrain under artillery fire. Luckily, I have max range artillery to cover all of the Romanian lands and damage their infantry. Moldova captured parts of Romania, but they were quickly occupied by me as well. I thought I was going to crush Moldova. However, their infantry somehow annihilated 2 of my stacks. At this moment, I just found out that I haven't researched cybernetic implants for my infantry. This technology is a must for player wars. I was focusing too heavily on artillery range. Since I wasn't planning for a late game build, I didn't rush quantum research at the start of the game. Now I'm going to have to pay by waiting forever to get that tech. While I was waiting to get the cybernetic implants, I spammed out more infantry and trained them up outside of their artillery range. It did take a while to kill Moldova, but I did manage to conquer them after I'm ready. With that, I won the Balkans Battle Royale, formed the Balkan Federation, and even released Bulgaria, who was still in the server. Since you made it to the end of this video, you get to choose which video I should edit next for the channel. And here is a clip for the Europe Battle Royale event I hosted last week. Comment the one you want to see first on this list in the comment section down below. Towards the end of the summer, I've been hosting events and grinding out Rise of Nations recordings almost every day just so I can still upload regularly when I'm back to school. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, comment. You can watch me play a World War I event on the left and my most recent video on the right.